going to the south. So that's what we're going to talk about today, in addition to all the other stuff that we have. Okay, so let's start out with the mainstream media. Well, could the sun be considered mainstream media? I don't know, but let's start there. And similarly, RT. But you're seeing the story start to come out again about this possibility of a April event, or will wipe out Earth in 2016, right? And the first thing I want to point out, when you look at a story like this, is usually they start out the story not with facts, not with anything in hard, concrete or hardcore. I know that's going to make you all laugh, but they always say conspiracy theorists have claimed. Keen conspiracy theorists have long believed. Conspiracy theorists say this, conspiracy theorists say that. And then they'll put us on the spot and say that we said it's coming in April, when in fact none of us are saying it's coming in April. In fact, we think it's probably just a little bit around the corner. But I don't think it's going to be in April. I think we might see an asteroid event in April. But other than that, well, nobody that I know of is saying that there's an April date. It's just the media that's saying it. And here's like RT talking about Planet X to really cause extinction this month. But this one was based on the testimony of an astrophysicist, supposedly. But the point is that the major mainstream media continues to pour this data out. In a way, I think, just to kind of hold on for a second, what they're trying to do is discredit the whole movement. And they did it in September of last year, and they're doing it again in April of this year. They're trying to ascribe that we're saying that the date of disaster is April. When the April event does not happen and April goes by, then they're further discrediting our movement, and then people don't want to watch our videos anymore. So that's what my theory is about this slow leak. Now, check out the other angle that the media is taking on this, right? The next one is, now we're starting to see that they're talking about the Greenland and Arctic melt is raising the seas, but it's changing the Earth's rotation. Really, I have a theory about what might be changing the Earth's rotation. But the first thing is, mainstream science is admitting to the fact that our Earth's rotation is changing. Okay? So the cause of it can be debated, but the fact is that it's validating what people like Eric Briggs and others have said, which is that the Earth is tilting. And their reason for it is global warming. Of course, everything's going to be global warming. Every disaster, every red storm, every purple lightning we see, everything's going to be global warming. We know that. But the point is that they're acknowledging that the Earth's rotation has changed. Now, shifting gears a little bit, I want to go to an important video I want you all to go look at. It's from Mr. MBB333. In all respect to him, he has done a wonderful job putting together some very clever technology that allowed him to be able to catch an actual object up next to the sun from his own equipment. And he explains the whole thing on how he got there. But please go check out this video. I think that you will be shocked. I think that he is also shocked with his own findings, which is kind of interesting. And so that's just another one I wanted to point you to. The next thing I'm going to show you is me lamenting my lost camera, but I was going back and looking over some stuff from the 2nd of April, and I caught a planet, and I don't think I explained it to anybody very well, so I wanted to show you guys what I mean by this. This thing kind of comes up and around, and watch how this little orb goes through the corona and then back out again, which is kind of an unusual movement for any kind of a sun flare, I think you would admit. You'd have to agree. But there it goes. See, it goes up. And then it comes back around on the top, as you're going to see it pop out here in a minute. And boom, there it comes out. So that was a planet almost certainly coming around the sun that we captured with the camera that is lost somewhere in the hills of southern Wisconsin. On that note, we're building another rig right now. We should be able to get another flight going next week sometime. On to the next thing. I wanted to take a look at subscriber photos that were sent in, and this is a really wild photograph, because the question you have to ask yourself as you're looking up in an aircraft is, what would cause it to actually cast a shadow upwards? Just strange. I can't explain it, but it is certainly a strange photograph. Do you not agree? The next one comes in. This is supposedly getting a picture of the object. This is an old Mark Reed photograph, I think. Just another picture of it. This is actually from Florida, a couple on vacation with one of my good friends, who actually, his brother was not a believer until he captured this with his own camera. on vacation in southern Florida. This is an interesting view. I believe this is one of the ones that we got from our friend Wayne, and just showing some very strange activity and the big orb again. Here's one where we actually see the green planet starting to show up. I think again this is from my friend's brother, who's now a believer that Nibiru is here because he saw this in his own camera. Now I want to take a minute on this because this is an interesting thing that one of my subscribers pointed out to me that's not being made public on Suspicious Observers or Jesse's channel or anybody else. But it's this observation, which I think is extremely interesting, that the air density has seemingly been going down to the southern hemisphere, and is shown in this enhanced kind of view of it. You can see that we have a large amount of volume going to the south. Now, would that bear along with us being tugged from the south, and perhaps for some reason the air being attracted to the southern hemisphere? I don't know. And then more and more the air seems to be moving to the south as well. As you can see, the upper jet streams and so forth all seem to be just going to the southern hemisphere, almost as if the planet has moved underneath the jet stream this way. Again, very interesting. And then finally, this is the atmospheric activity in the northern and southern hemispheres, and you can see it's strikingly more in the south than it is in the north. So again, just another corroborating thing that tells us that we've got some trouble on our hands coming here, I think. This is just an interesting photograph where we caught we catch the orb, the almost UV light orb at the 1 o'clock position again, with an airplane traveling over the head. This one was interesting. This is from a Skycam on the WeatherCam network down in Australia, and we're starting to see this yellow object. This is a very interesting testimony. Let me just kind of talk it through. This is from Shirley. Hopefully she doesn't mind me showing her name. But about a week ago, she was checking the worldwide telescope and spotted what she believed to be Nibiru. And as she goes on, she talked about the EVP, and she talks about a dream and a vision that she had. But what was interesting about this is that she looked at the WISE All Sky infrared scan, and then looked at the Pisces constellation. And when she left-clicked, a bright star object says unidentified object. So she took her camera and aimed it towards the sun, and the yellow planet looks like Venus. Also notice that Venus 2A shot, blah blah blah, and then I'll just kind of blow into what she was talking about down here, and you can see that she identified this object in the Pisces area, and then she tried to take a picture of it with her own camera. So just kind of an interesting little thing that you can take a look at, another corroborating piece of evidence. This is just right off a TV channel yesterday, where we got the refraction of red and blue Kachina in our orbs and everything like that. It was just taken, just like the guy saw it on one of the channels. Okay, here's Mr. Debris Trail thingy showing up again in a recent Core 2 from the last 2 days. We see it, all the time now. It's another weather cam, or actually a Hawaii cam again, showing the objects. Here's one where my green planet's starting to show up, or my green object is starting to show up again. These are all from subscribers again. That's just a weird image. Like, it almost looks like pure UV light coming out of this little spot of the sky. It's kind of convincing me that we're dealing with a UV emitting object every time I see something like this. And then here's just some, more image of the orb, of the circle, and things like that from the ISS. Now this is an interesting one. I took just one little flash of this. It was actually a movie that was given to me by someone in England who said we had red clouds and pink lightning last night in a part of the UK. Just unusual because there was no thunder from the storm. This was just one of those lucky catches that we got, I think, where a person was just in the right place at the right time to catch an actual view of the objects. And then again, just the halo effect. And again, this halo was in the UK this time, yesterday. This is from a couple of months ago, but it was a blue planet that was being observed 180 degrees away from the sun, and it moved fast. And I've heard several stories, but this is the first time I've seen a picture of one that clear and good. This one is just, okay, it's not a flare, guys. Okay, it's just not. Wow. This is from Australia again. Weather cams down there. And then back to that. All right, now let's take a look at a couple more things, and I'll let you go. So I wanted to finish off with a little paying tribute to the United States Air Force and the CIA and all the United States government agencies that are so blessedly covering our skies. This is from a subscriber. Make sure you check out the links below. I didn't go through all of them today, but there's some good ones there.